Okay guys, so today we're going to look at some more regular expressions in Python, and we're going to look at from more of from a more procedural standpoint. This is what you need to do to get regular expressions into your program, and this is the formula that you would use. And then we're going to look at some really simple patterns, and we'll go more detailed than we did last time. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to say, first of all, we have to import. But not read. There we go. And then I'm going to say this is equal to, separate those. I'm going to separate them by comma. So this would be basically a comma delimited form. Okay, so that would be a legitimate email address. That would be a legitimate email address. Be a legitimate email address. Would be a legitimate address. So we have some legitimate email addresses. And now let's go ahead and see if we can search for those. So let's go ahead and build our search string. And we're going to say a collection. This is where we use our RE method. We're going to use find all this time. And the pattern we set up is basically any kind of text. And that's what this means. We'll go through this in a little bit more in detail. And we're going to addresses. Okay, so we'll go there. Oops, but I guess I do need to close that. And then we'll create our for loop. Tab over. We're going to print. And we're just going to print the things that get found in our search. Okay. Oops, we just want to print the whole list. All right, so let's save. And let's run it. Oh, what did I name it? That's probably the problem. It's supposed to be Python exercise. My bad. Attention to detail. Right, so unterminated string literal. Did I forget? What did I forget to add? Let's go in there and look. Okay, I forgot to add up here. That's what I forgot to add. Let's try that again. See, it's all about paying attention when you're coding. All right, and I probably forgot to put quotation marks, or not quotation marks. Got to put parentheses, or the colon, which was indeed the colon that got me. Okay, and that should be that. Six. Oh, in. I also forgot to put the word in there. That doesn't work otherwise. Wow, I'm having a tough day today. But on the other hand, look what we got. All right, so let's go back and evaluate our code compared to our results. So we're looking for this pattern. It's text plus a at symbol followed by more text. And it's searching in addresses, which is this string of text that we added up here. As we look at our string of text, the first item, this is comma delimited, by the way. So our first item is a legitimate email address followed by a comma. Next is a legitimate email address followed by a comma. Next is not a legitimate email address followed by a comma. Next is, in fact, an email address followed by a comma. And then finally, the last entry is not an address. So we're looking for that pattern of text, at symbol, more text. And as we look through it, we're looking through the whole, the entire collection of addresses. And we're taking these things that match the pattern and we're dumping them into a collection called emails, or a list, whatever you want to call it. And then for each item in that, by the way, these variable names don't matter at all. I could say for each Fred in emails, it would print them because this is just a variable name. It doesn't really matter, but it's a good idea to make these names make sense. So these are email addresses we're looking for, and this is a list of email addresses. So for each one address in the list of addresses, we want to print that. Now, when we ran it, this is what we got. We got all three of the things that followed the pattern, the search pattern. Now, how could that be useful? Well, this is basically an email scraper. You can load, instead of just loading this simple little text variable in there, we could have easily loaded, it's very easy to load HTML pages into Python. So it'd be very easy to load an HTML page into that, or a whole, we could make a web scraper that looked through the entire domain of a web page, look through every single page of hundreds and hundreds of pages looking for this pattern. And when it finds it, it dumps it into this little collection. And when it's done, it'll go back. And instead of having it print to the screen, we could have very easily had this print to a text file. And then we could have just pointed our program at a domain like Microsoft.com, and every single page on the internet, Microsoft.com, our little bot would look down through the code in that page, through the text, and it would find every single email address. Which is why, by the way, you don't put your email address in open text onto a web page. You would take a picture of your email address and stick the picture in there so people can look at it, see what it is with their eyes, and make it a link, or make it a link to a form. But you would not want to put your, like used to, you put mail to addresses and mail to links. You don't do that anymore because people will scrape your email address and stick it on a list and sell it to somebody, and pretty soon you're getting ads from every kind of product you can imagine. So this is actually a very useful program if you happen to be a spammer. You're not that, so probably we wouldn't use it as much, but it's a very good way to demonstrate regular expressions. All right, guys, so that went a little longer than I intended and also kind of went off on a little curve there, but it worked really well. Find all, we've already used match, and now we've discovered find all. So match returns a Boolean if the string is there. Find all returns all the examples of the match, and so we can use a list, some other kind of container that holds multiple things like an array, and then we can print those out. It's really easy to loop through, as you saw, and print them out. So anyway, I hope this was useful. Your assignment is basically going to be to duplicate this result from a text file. I'll have you open a text file and then read through the text file and do a match for email addresses, and we'll go from there. So If you have any questions, let me know. I can be reached through Canvas inbox, and we'll see you in class. Have a good day.